loading up for the trip. Here's Leah. We'll be going today to the north toward the Sea of Galilee.
Imagine you live in the biblical times until 1882, and you drive in here, or you ride in here, this area, or you walk in. If you have to do the adventure, this great risk, with the malaria, not easy.
The guide's name is George.
But you see here one beautiful flower.
Jerusalem.
You remember the name of that biblical flower, right? The morning he went up to Caesarea,
like
exactly as we do now.
Flat.
We go to Caesarea, as even we followed in stone, and the sandstone, when it is it changed to soil, this slow process. The more you have many kinds of newcomers,
is the city of Netanya,
you have more taste.
City of gold
you have
and diamonds, where
another profession. Everybody has his own profession, and you can put them together, and they can make very beautiful
Sorry, they're not going to let
work.
us stop and buy anything.
From Netanya to your right hand, you see you are in Tul Karim and kilometers. They come for the service and the Christmas, Bethlehem. I was a little upset, from them. We, the Arabs, easy to see our face when we are upset or not upset, Easy, really. What is in our heart, you see it in our face. It is easy, simple people. He wrote me a long letter, about 2 pages. You know why I'm upset? Because of the time. Tell them 8 o'clock, they come 9 o'clock. Tell them, I don't know, and it's not easy to speak with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, tough things. And the governor, he wrote me like this, it's with me. Anton, you've been, like these compliments. At the end he says, I noticed that you are many times even absent, especially in the morning or after lunchtime. And I think because we were not punctual in time, all of them, they have very expensive watches, he says, indeed. Maybe 400, 500 as watch. But did you notice when you used to ask them the time, what's the time? They used to look up like this to the sun. And some would tell you before noon or after noon. They have watches, but they never use it. They look all the way up. And like the, like Cassis. And then, he apologized in a very smooth way, until when I read the letter, after they left. I said, oh God, in our country, we use usually the roster, The roster, I have really a story of some dowry, a man on distance or smoking cigarette distance, where you have Kalkiria or Tul Karim. They are
going north,
back to the hands of the
coal power station. They pump it. It's named after Rabin, the prime minister that was assassinated. Piles and piles of coal.
See, look here to the left, we have Orot Rabin. Rabin. Orot tourism is to make it site number 1.
Roman Caesarea by the sea.
Because we have another Caesarea. The second Caesarea is Caesarea, which is inland. That's near Mount Hermon. I hope we'll be able to visit the second Caesarea, what we call Caesarea of Philippi. But this Caesarea was built by the Phoenicians. Remember those Phoenicians? The descendants of the Phoenicians are the Lebanese today. In the biblical times, Phoenicia is to the north of Israel, until Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel was the border between Phoenicia and the Holy Land and Israel. Mount Carmel. Don't forget the good relationship between Solomon and the Phoenicians. Copy stone, which was found near the theater by the Italian professors of archaeology in the upper part of the 40s. Was found exactly in the corner of the theater. And this is the best archaeological and historical document really we have about Caesarea. Look what is written here. I wanted you to read it. This is the name of Tiberius. Tiberius, Caesar, Caesar Tiberius. This is the name of, you see, can you read it? Pilatus, see? Pilatus, Pontius, and here Caesarea, and this is the governor of Caesarea. Look, this Pontius Pilatus was the governor of Caesarea for 2 years. Romans used to put the governor only for 2 years. After 2 years, they give the authority to another governor. The governor of the province. Province, you know, like the Holy Land is a state, like province. Under this man, who is for 2 years, we have the army leaders, you know, Legion number 1, Legion number 2, Legion number 3, number 4. You remember this Roman way of dividing the authority with the armies in those days. Army number 1, army number 2. The army is divided into small troops. The smallest in between the troops was the centurion, you know, century, like we say in English, century, what do you mean of 100? So the lowest is the centurion. All the army in the province should not be local. You know this is important really when you study about Rome. All the army in the Holy Land, the Roman army, was not local army. Why not local? Because you cannot persecute the people by their sons, never. So in order to persecute the people, you have to use another kind of people. This is what the philosophy of Rome. In Israel, for instance, the army must be against the Israelis, must be. So you bring from Egypt, you bring from Phoenicia, in Phoenicia you have the army there, they would be from Israel, they would be from Egypt, they would be from other country. This is in Edom the same. Always you have to have foreigners to rule the country by them. So all the army under the centurion were from where? From another kind of people, Gentiles. And this is the problem of Peter really. Remember, Peter's problem was the big problem. I go to baptize centurion. Am I crazy? Centurion is what? Is a Gentile. Under the Gentiles, Gentiles. All of them are Gentiles. This side. Emperor forever, unless he is assassinated. Governor 2 years. Then the army leaders under him. Look, the other side, suppose I really like to write another side here, something, I would write the name of the king who was appointed by the Romans. Remember, the king in Israel was appointed by whom? By this. By this. By the emperor. This is the king of the Jews, is here. Suppose I say Herod Antipas. Suppose I say, is appointed by this. Now, Herod Antipas had all the authority upon his people, like this. Whatever you like, you can do. Except 2 things, you know the 2 things that he cannot open his eyes to them. One of them, no army, no force, nothing. And the second, no foreign ministry. No army and no foreign ministry. You like to make your coins, make your coins. You like to have 10 helicopters to bring you to Jericho or to Jerusalem or to Bethlehem, bring 50, I don't care really. I mean Arafat, you know. This is the autonomy.
I'll move if someone wants one.
Strings.
The quarries for the granite are South Egypt. And they never think of this even.
Herod's palace.
But if you know why, because we are in the age of the computer today. The computer age is very ugly. The problem is I cannot move this by like this. You need how many hands in it? How the boats they have?
Granite pole.
Alexandria, from Alexandria to where? To
He's
this
discussing how it takes
and if I see it in
to
there,
get this
it's worse.
from the Sudan here,
They finish,
how
they
much
make it
Herod
there.
invested
Here. They finish
in
it
building his palace by the
from
sea.
Egypt. And this is a little bit easy. You know why? They are doing this. If you hold the heat around 365 days, this city is under the deck. This is it, you know. It started as Phoenician harbor, okay. But then Herod made it as his city, not Jerusalem. Remember, today they open it maybe 3 times a year only. But they are going to open it soon for the tours.
There's something.
Please come down, take a seat. Yeah, by the Italians. I promise you, I am not going to show you my doctorate here. Remember, we have 3 subjects here to tell you. One of them, little history. Caesarea start as Phoenician. If you don't start from here, you fall in your doctorate. Phoenicians. Phoenicians from Sidon. Number 2, Herod the Great used the same harbor of the Phoenician, enlarged it. Hadrian after Herod. Then the Byzantine. The Byzantine, many times I'm going to repeat these things. I will tell you more about the Byzantine. The Byzantine were here from 324 AD until 638 AD. Muslims came here after them. The theater used to be good and nice and worked very well from Herod the Great until the coming of the Muslims here. After the Muslims, we had the Crusaders. 250 years of the Crusaders. You know, they came from Europe. They were in need of the harbors on the Mediterranean Sea for support all the time. Europe behind me. After the Crusaders, we had Mamelukes. Remember the name, and we will speak and we'll tell you about Mamelukes. Mamelukes. How you say it? Mamelukes. I will give you, I will talk about them, those slaves, that they ruled our country at least 300 years. After them, our country was ruled by the Turks. Turks, they were here from 1515 until 1919. How many years? Like 400 years. Imagine you are ruled 400 years by Turks. Then the British. Then the Israelis. Now we restore the theater as you see it, and we use it. It is marked, it is used. You can come here, at least you enjoy yourself 3 times in this theater. This is subject number 1. If you forget these things, believe me, rock is not going to fall from heaven. I promise you. You go outside, ask Abid. Abid is a good friend of everyone, the entrance to your right hand, to give you a brochure free. You read these things. Second thing you remember here is this design, architecture. See, this is the theater. This is the area of the semicircle for the orchestra and the nobles. And that's the stage where they make the performance. You see 2 holes, 1 hole there, another hole over there. They go underneath to change the clothes. Outside, they have a semicircle for dancing. See, those walls, they go all the way to the sea. These are Byzantine, above Herod the Great. They make the round around the theater to close the theater. Indeed, they close the theater. You come inside the theater from these vomitariums. You know what vomitarium is, right? You throw what you drink in here. This is Roman design. I will show you very special vomitariums in Caesar, in Bitchin. These are not good, really, much good. In Bitchin, they are much more clear. Vomitariums in here. Here, you throw, to throw. Vomot is to throw. You see, you can drink 3, 4, 5 bottles of wine, or 10 indeed. How? You throw, drink something and go to throw it. That's the way of the Romans. Romans, they were very sadistic, really, against themselves. There is a word in English for it. But anyway,
Bulimia.
this is the design, the theater. The third subject, which is really, don't forget it. And this is your subject, why you are here. This is it. And I prefer to follow me up all the way for this subject. That's the gospel. Peter changed his plan here. It is good to remember Peter. A very typical Jewish man, really. More than usual Jewish, this man. Difficult to be changed. He was changed by the Holy Spirit of God in Jaffa, in Joppa. Go baptize Cornelius. The philosophy of Peter was, I cannot give Christianity to anybody who is not Jewish. You remember, this is Peter. Peter thought Christianity is only good to the Jewish.
Thank God for the vision in the house of the tenor, and he came up here, and you remember that Cornelius knelt in front of him and he said, I am a man like you. Go up. And how it is written in the Gospels, the Acts, it's written, and the people were here, they were first baptized by the Holy Spirit of God. And then Peter says, how can I spare the water and not baptize these people in water? It happened here. Who are these people? The people, they are the followers of the centurion. Behind you, you have Samaria. You are Samaritans. Samaritans, in the eyes of Peter, worse than the Gentiles. He baptized them here. Greeks, Romans, many of them, they were baptized in this spot in that beautiful day when the Spirit was given to the Gentiles, was upon the Gentiles. Number two, here we have to remember Paul. Paul was imprisoned 2 years in Caesarea. It is good really to remember Paul. He was imprisoned 2 years in Caesarea. And each time Paul used to come out or in, it was via Caesarea. His last journey was from Caesarea. His last journey. This is Acts 26. Remember when they brought Paul to Caesarea from Jerusalem, and then at the end he had his last time in front of whom? Of Herod Agrippa. Who's this Herod Agrippa? Herod Agrippa was the grandson of Herod the Great. He was worse than his grandfather. He studied in Rome. He finished the University of Rome. He married his sister, Berenice. And Paul, they brought Paul in front of him, maybe to this theater really, very much possible to this theater. And remember, he started to give his testimony about Jesus. At the end, what Agrippa says to Paul, you mean you come to make me a Christian? You still remember how he answered him? He answered him, dear Agrippa, my job is to give Christianity. Everyone is suitable to Christianity except the chains in my hands. That's it. At the end, God wanted him to say this. Indeed, this ugly person, Agrippa, want to release him. Indeed, he want to release him. You know that. You read. I'm sure you did this. He said, this man is nothing wrong happening. And suddenly he says, I am a Roman citizen. I have a Roman passport. And I said, okay, if you are Roman, why you have to stand in front of me? Go to Rome. And look, who was the emperor of Rome in the time of Agrippa? Remember? Neron. Neron. Imagine he wants to leave this little fireman to go to a very big, huge, savage person. His name was Neron. And please follow Paul from here to Rome. Do it. Take the book of Acts and follow him to Rome. And you go in the Mediterranean Sea, and he was stuck in this island, and they had trouble in this place, and they had problem here, and they had problem there. And what he did in his way, remember, God said to him in the Golan Heights, Paul, I am going to use you. And really, he will use him in his way to Rome from Caesarea. And the third point that we remember always in our visit, Philip, you remember Philip when he baptized the Ethiopian? What he did, he went from near Hebron all the way to Gaza, and from Gaza to where? To Caesarea. After that, we come to the order of the deacon. Remember the deacon order? It was really established in Caesarea. A great thing about the deacon order that was here. Later on, come as us as Christians. Christianity was organized in Caesarea. Don't hide your eyes from this subject. Here it was organized. What the duty of this man? What the duty of the woman? What are the duty of the widows? What are the duty of the old people to do? If I'm a wealthy man and this man in need of my help, what I have to do? If we have a property, how we arrange it, how we do it, it was really where? It was organized here in Caesarea. These things, if you like to call those widows as the Catholics later on, they are going to call them nuns and sisters. Okay, I call them really nuns and sisters. It's no problem. If you like to call, if you have deacons in your church, elderly, I don't know how you organize your church. It's nice. Remember the book of Acts. Lots of things really in Caesarea, in this place. Caesarea for us is a very special site. It's not only history. It's not only stones. It's not a theater. It's not a hippodrome or a Palace of Herod the Great or things like this. It is something else. So, history, briefly. Gospel is in your hands. And the theater or the other buildings, also antiquities and other things. Here we are. Tanya.
Herod had an elaborate palace here. Most of it has been unearthed. Beautiful palace. The floor of the stage, pure marble. These are the holes that the actors and directors go down.
Stage call, 5 minutes.
Look at the detail of the marble.
Is it worth seeing?
I'm walking toward the sea, and it's unbelievable how much stuff is just left laying around the granite columns. Here's some more of the marble columns and various pieces, again with very intricate detail. This is the harbor of Herod's Caesarea by the sea. There's a man fishing. Here's a look back toward the theater and the wall built by the Byzantine.
Jesse!
I believe this is what the guy called the vomitorium.
Jesse!
A real disgusting place. Here's more, a ton of pieces. Marble columns, all with intricate detail on them. This would have been the backstage area behind the theater. This would have been the entrance into the stage. Look at the construction of the rocks. A marvel of engineering.
Ja, Gatul.
Shows Tim, hundreds of tourists here, hundreds.
The moat is above the sea level. So there was no water in this moat, no water. And it was like an impediment in the way the horses from outside. Crusaders wanted to ensure that their coming in and going out is free. Because they came from Europe, they have to have the Mediterranean Sea in their hands. So they put lots of crusade centers or citadels or army camps near the Mediterranean Sea to ensure they're coming in and they're going back. The Crusaders, the moment they came here, they thought about the moment they are going to go out. This is really the philosophy of. You have two ages, very clear two ages. This one to the right is Herod the Great. The other one.
This is Herod's aqueduct that brought water from Mount Carmel to Caesarea.
See like
Well, this is a beautiful, warm day on the beach. Here's the aqueduct that brought the water. It was widened out during later days to bring more water. This is the Arab section.
Tannanim in Hebrew means crocodiles, the river of the crocodiles to your right hand. It is really St. Peter's fish. All the fish we grow here is perch fish, from the same family of the perch.
Fish farms.
Fish is a very good English named after the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds. There are 2 hotels in this village. See, this is a new one here to
That hang gliders in
makes rain.
Mount Carmel.
If you need a little help, you don't go to bed. They are very wealthy
Go to Mount
people,
Carmel.
and they have 3 centers.
Beautiful water.
One in Haifa, 350 believers. One in Sydney, Australia, and one in Chicago, the United States, Illinois, the United States of America. 3 big centers. The most beautiful one is here in Haifa, and the smallest community is here in Haifa.
This is the harbor in Haifa. Old dome building actually has 24 karat gold on top of the building.
All the other buildings, the yellow building,
The real gold.
Mostly from the U.S.
In the distance, a snow-covered mountain is Mount Hermon. You can barely see it for the smog and the fog.
that's Judas tree. See it? We believe
Judas
that
tree here.
the flowers came to be like the blood because of Judas killed himself to be like that tree. Judas.
Judas tree. Judas killed himself on a tree like this.
You see the statue or the monument of Elijah or Elijah. What Elijah is doing here, you know, this is how our traditions, we believe that Elijah meeting with the false prophets took place here. There were 450 false prophets, and you remember he made the women
Here's the head
this.
of the false prophet cut off by
Those
Elisha.
have the big influence. Don't go quickly on this subject, especially those young of you. Really, I know this is a great subject. If you import them in the time of Solomon from Phoenicia, either of Lebanon, women, and other things.
Scan of the Valley of Jezreel from top of Mount Carmel.
Look, I look straight like 12 o'clock to the top of a mountain. There's a village up in the top of the mountain. It's a very clear day, really, in our horizon. Look at it. See it? In front of us, the big city of the mountain at Nazareth. Behind Nazareth, there's a mountain like a dome, right? That's Mount Tabor, the mountain of Deborah. Transfiguration in our traditions also. The mountain I look now, where you see there is a city on the slope, that's Mount Gideon. Gideon, you remember Gideon when he selected his soldiers? He selected them on the Gilboa. That mountain is the Gilboa, where Saul was killed. Down to the south, then the mountains of Samaria. Those are the mountains of the West Bank. And this is Mount Carmel. I look to the tribe of mountain, now they are there. And then you turn to the left to Mount Gilboa. You see the mountain of Gilboa. And then you go down to the Jordan Valley. To the east side, the mountain to the east are the mountains of Gal'ad. Gal'ad mountain to the east. See? You can see here east side of Jordan. Now I'd like to go back here to this road, Phoenicia in those days, the Via Maris to Phoenicia. Today you see cars. Now behind these cars, let us take this ash road, the end of the ash road, another ash road near a river. You see there's a river there. You see little water, can you see little water? I don't want to expect to see Mississippi River. It's a little, you know, brook yards. If your eyes are good, behind this brook, there's a little mound, you see it? And on the mount, there's such kind of an altar. At the top of the mount, an altar. Some Christians believe that is the place, Jabal el-Kassis, they call it. Tal el-Kassis. They believe that Elijah sacrificed over there. Indeed, the story is better than here. But this is, you know why? Because
This is the Valley of Jezreel, also known as Megiddo, where many believe the Battle of Armageddon will occur. This road right here is the road to the sea. The Mediterranean goes to the left, just around Mount Carmel. Off in the distance is the Sea of Galilee, the city of Nazareth. Way off in the distance are the three towers. They may not be able to be seen at this point. That's where we came from this morning, taking all day to get here to Mount Carmel. Still on top of the Mount Carmel. This is the Greek Orthodox Church, right in front of the statue of Elijah. What's that?
The lighting is dismal in here. I doubt whether you'll be able to. I got my flash out there.
Wooden pews, wooden people at home love these. At least it has good acoustics. Maybe this is the kind of ceiling we need to put up.
Perfect one in our country. It's a Roman tomb. They examined this. They examined this tomb, and this is a Roman tomb with a big rolling stone in. This is the only one in the country, so visible. We have more of those.
Caves were carved out of the limestone.
George can't stop really. The reason is not
One has
good to stop you.
a perfect.
But can you see to the left the one? Make sure you see it.
Casing around it.
To our left hand. Last week I was here, it wasn't open.
Nazareth straight ahead.
You know, always you have to wait, this country. Not much more.
it's like platform temple. We will see that temple in the British School of Archaeology. You see it's such kind of a table. This is the Canaanite temple under the palace of Solomon. This is the palace of Solomon. Solomon had another palace. Yeah, this is one of the mangers. Yeah, serious. About the Holy Land, always you have to start from the Canaanites. Wherever you start, if you don't Ahab. Ahab continued to use the city, the same as he used the city up in the north, Hazor. Okay, let's go inside.
This is the entrance to Solomon's Gate.
Water cups for the horses. This is how we call it in the Bible, the water cup. So usually, and this is really also logical, horses are coming from outside, they go back to the camp, what they need first of all? Water. If they leave the camp and they go outside, please really, I believe they also need water. The Northern Palace. This one. Now look why he put it here. Look why he put it here. I believe, if the place for the horses is there, no? Yeah, it's good really because he doesn't smell the horses. No, the horses are there. So this is a very good location really for his palace.
This is the city of Nazareth, looking from Solomon's palace. Going right, there's Mount Gilboa, where Saul died. Below is the Valley of Jezreel, where many people believe Armageddon will occur.
They need to put that a little closer, don't they?
And Solomon, in great majesty, when he built the house of God in Jerusalem, he invitated the Canaanites upward. Some up, some down, right? You have to sign. What's your argument? See the design here, the picture? It's like a highway. One way up, one way down. Right?
Oh, that's steps, isn't it?
Yeah, steps going down. Going down to the tunnel.
Notice the steps on the outside.
Spirals down, see?
It spirals down, going down into the grain silo.
You can write them down and then you open the subject of why they have to store. That's what the tie, this place. The mayor or the army leader. The mayor of the town or the army leader of this camp or the king of this place. You have to bring your tithe and to put it together. That is the source. Everybody wrote the tithe willingly and in love and request. Than 50 perfect ones like this.
Oh,
What is this? This is a manger. It's a manger. This is 1000 Solomon. This is Solomon, period. Manger, even they collected like these rocks, you know, for what? These are
Going down into the tunnel, 183 steps.
You said there were 5 C's that's around the area. I got 4. What was the lower C on that map? What did you call it?
4, not 5, 4.
Four.
For what you said?
The 5 C's. Very between the 5 C's, about SBC, 42 to the metro.
Someone left it outside, I don't care. See? But when Ahab was here, I believe, you know how many troubles Ahab had. Not only one trouble in his home, but he had many in his neighbors. You know, his neighbors did not like him, he did not like them. Sometimes fight them, sometimes fought him. He said to put the water inside. He made the walls all the way like this, and he made it dig. Deep dig, vertically, no steps. After he reached the level of the choke, he went to the horizon, to the spring, and then he brought the water from the spring to the tunnel. The more the spring had pressure, the water goes up. The more water we have in the spring, the water goes up. Now what happened later, he said, okay, maybe my enemies are going to know the entrance to this place. What he said, he closed the entrance from the other side in beautiful walls, and he buried those walls under the ground. So nobody knew where to go to his water. These are what we call them the closed springs. The closed springs in the Bible. You see, we say this spring is a closed spring. Nobody can go to the spring to spoil the water in. See the original steps here until 5-6 meters. Okay. It is so nice, easy. Rampage, easy. Oh.
This is looking down. We're still in the tunnel. Still going around, going down deeper into this tunnel. This is looking down the tunnel. I'm going to try to walk. We're going deeper. I don't know how far we are now. We're probably at 40 flights. Oh. We're walking now across the flat part of the tunnel. I don't know if you can see Tim or not. He's trying to walk backwards.
Out of the dark silhouette.
This is where Solomon hid when his wives got on his nerves. Spring.
Just to please come.
You made it, honey. It was not easy.
The town of Solomon, people used to come down from here to the water and to go back. He had made this tunnel.
Here's coming out of the tunnel. Want to look back.
And he buried this area. Look. See what is the British dig? This was under the ground. If you walk near the same level. And here, look, it is the same level. So nobody thought that there is something hidden there. Yeah, you have.
Just want to let everybody know that you can get McDonald's Big Mac here, but only if you go through the Mac Drive. If I can ever get it to focus. Something is fooling the focus lens. This is looking on the Sea of Galilee from our motel room on the 8th floor. You can see how that we're in the city of Tiberias. Everything is like in a valley. The city is below us. You can see a part of the old wall. You say it was built by the Turks? Or the
Turks. And lots of the stones.
It is Saturday morning at approximately 6:47. Looking out over the Sea of Galilee. The sun has not yet risen over the Mariah David Hotel. We've not yet eaten breakfast. We don't know what's going to be there. This is the Jewish Sabbath, so you can see most of them are sleeping in. About all that you hear are the tour buses that are about to take off this morning. Last night was a rather enjoyable night, hearing a couple of Arabs have a car wreck and their car alarms go off about 1 o'clock in the morning. This is out in front of the hotel. You can see all the tour buses lined up. It's about 7:45. Our group is doing well. Look at the luggage they load on these tour buses.
Good morning. How are you doing? I'm sure you love Tiberias. Yeah, nice city. Tour buses. Down to right hand. The salt water, it's under the level of 9 feet. So we have always a good chance of 9 feet. The water from under 9 feet. And we put it in this water. It was a big village, very busy market in the time of Jesus. It's his main city in his way, in his road, I mean. In his road, one of the main cities in the road of Jesus, from Nazareth to Capernaum. See, the road was from here up to your left hand,
City of Magdala.
between the two mountains teaching around the Sea of Galilee, Gennesaret or Gennesaret, where the boat was found 8-9 years ago in the mud of the Sea of Galilee. In the mud of the Sea of Galilee. Boat was found and they thought that was the boat of Jesus. You have very good soil. See the color of the rocks, the volcanism, and it is really 3 crops you find here. If you come or you drive in this area, you find
Lake
3
Kula
crops.
area didn't drain.
Cotton. The second, you find fish farms, fruits.
Mount Hermon in the
East
distance.
side, the Golan.
west side to the left, that the Hezbollah is. Yeah, here. See? شوي. The second water,
River.
you see there's two sources, you see? One source, it comes from Lebanon straight. This is Lebanese water. Both of them are really Lebanese water.
How far are we north of Hula?
Sorry?
How far north of Hula are we? Lake Hula.
From Hula straight, like 500 yards, 600 yards.
Source.
This is one of the three sources. Good breakfast, right? I all the time say that again and again and again.
Lebanese.
This is South Lebanon. Look at the Lebanese villages up to the left. You see them? In the mountains. Those are real Lebanese villages. Please keep it in the bus.
No, not yet.
We're walking down the trail at Tel Dan.
No wonder that you get people
Beautiful
good and cool in here.
area.
Boy, I like
You can see the springs. Just a beautiful area, picnic area. Just a few hundred yards from South Lebanon.
They walk like army, like 20, 50 together, and they all the time they go very wildly, straight, quickly, as like this. You can see, I met many of them here in this area. How big? Yeah. Was one here. One here. You see these little pieces of iron. The Professor Biran, you see, he put them here just to show you where the original, down below, is original. You see? Above reconstructed. Really, we thought he was a very stubborn man, And people from a distance, they cannot see it. Why you don't follow the British way or the American way? Put a line like this, you see? Put a line between this is his way. Everybody has his way to do it, you see? He's still alive. The thing that he took still in his home, it is worth to see. He took many things from here. I speak about Professor Biran. Remember, it's a big name in Israel. Biran. B-E-R-A-N. He is still alive. The actual gate. See here what we call it hinge. How you say in English? The hinge. Move like this. Or where the pillar of the gate, when you open the gate, like this. The gate of the city. See? The city is really big gate. Big gate is the actual stone of the gate. That is one, and here one. Look, you have like about 6 yards, the entrance to the gate. This is from the time of the kings of Israel, the Israelites, after the split of the kingdom. What I wanted you really, I don't want to take 6 hours in this morning here, but really it's very important to have those who are interested in one of the main sites in Israel. This is site finished. The dig is finished here. Look, even really, they put these signs, it means it is finished, and what we put here, we are sure what we put is what we put. Last year, you remember when we came here, there were no signs. Now we have the signs are put, it means nobody can say yes, no, yes. If you have a new theory, please come and prove it. But this is what we have it now. You see, this is a Canaanite name, Phoenician name. Laish means lion. Lion in the Canaanite language, lion. This is the name Laish. Later, the name was changed and was given another name. See, this is the city on the Via Maris. I will give the other guy the chance, but look, I enter from the gate here, please. See, go with me inside. Don't go without me. Go without me, you miss something important. Look, in this place exactly, here. Exactly. We found the monument of First King 15. First King 15. It's a black rock, like this side. And on this black rock, it is written the story of the king of Bani Haddad. Bani Haddad, when he was invited by King Asa to go to fight Basha. Now, who's Basha? Basha was the king of Israel, the northern kingdom. He made not far away from Jerusalem in Ramallah. Ramallah, lots of fortification against Jerusalem. Now, if you go to Jerusalem and you look up to the north, you see, let us say Ramallah, Ramah. I will take you there. I will take you to that area. Take you to that area. And if you stop there, you see in front of you Ramah with all the fortification that was done by Baasha against Asa. So sure you, the Americans, you don't like Cuba if Fidel Castro is going to put there in Cuba a little thing near you. It's true. But he had really nothing to do, this Asa. He sent all the money of the temple to Bani-Haddad in Damascus, and they said, dear Bani-Haddad, please, you know, this man is doing like this. It's okay, I will fix him up. The story is written in 1 Kings 15. Somebody denied that. Please go. Today it's in the house of Biran, this stone really. He took it to his home. But we have a copy of this in the Israeli Museum in Jerusalem. What is written in the stone, exactly what is written in 1 Kings 15. Exactly. The names of the villages even. Uyun, not far away from here. Dan, Uyun, and Abel. He took the three cities from him, from Baasha. And then Baasha says, hey, dear Bani-Haddad, we will be friends. He said, how? I am paid already. How? He said, I will destroy all the fortifications of Ramah if you stop invading my country. That's fine. What's wrong in this? I am paid from this, and I am paid from this, twice. And Bani-Haddad from Damascus. The rock was found here. That was one of the most beautiful days, really, for Professor Biran when he was here. Indeed, one of the beautiful days. You know, why beautiful day? Because here it is a very authentical piece to prove the Bible, that the Bible is what? True. Authentical and true. A Druze man, he found this rock and started to shout, something here, something here. He came, Biran came, and suddenly things are written. There's another copy here in the museum of this kibbutz in this Beit Osheskin, not far away from here, near this entrance. So you go inside the city of Laish, the city of Laish, from the gate of the Israelites. The gate of the Israelites. Israelites, let us say like 800 BC, 820 BC gate, that gate. Okay? So the second thing I wanted to show you is here. All this compound, it's really new, maybe lasted 2 months. It was cleared like this. It's really cleared last. It is also Israelites. You enter the gate. At the time of the kings of Israel, what is the first thing ugly you see near the main entrance? It was here. Exactly here. I enter the place. I know it is forbidden. I am standing on here, exactly in this place. It's a high place. You know what the high places are? What they used to do in the high places, you know what?
Incense.
Yeah? To offer and to incense, lots of incense, and lots of other things they used to use in the high place. Where the high place is, exactly near what? Near the gate. So the first thing you go inside, after you go from the gate, what you see, the first thing, what you do when you go inside, you go to the high place and you offer and you burn the incense. Offer the incense. You see these little rooms? Little, really, you know, I wish that you see how many little jars of pottery, small ones. Small jars of pottery, how many? Thousands. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them in these little rooms. Why so? When I go and see small size jars, sure they are not for olive oil, they are not for wine. The only one thing we are really sure that was for the incense. So you buy your incense from some place and you take one of those jars and you go to these stones. You see these stones, how we call them in the Bible. I will show you more of those. Okay. These stones that they used to carry in their festivals. The Phoenicians used to carry in their festival, the festivals of the fertility. The rocks look, a moment. You see, they used to carry them in the festivals of the sexual, sex in this area, and they used all the time to make those incense near the main entrance to the gates of the city gates. Imagine this is the kings of the north, the kings of north of Israel, they used to do it. In your gates, it is written everywhere you go, to the book of Kings, to the Chronicles, to the prophets, what are you doing in your gates, in your city gates? What you have to do in the city gates, you know, I believe, you know what you have to do in the city gates? You have to do justice and truth in the city gates. And what you do it today, you are do it for what? For serving those pagan gods, and you serve your instincts, yourself, sex and adultery. You see, this is it. Rocks, 5 rocks. You see these 5 rocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rocks. This is a high place really. Another high place where you can see the remains. See, this is original, under this is original, and the high place you see. So if that is very, very busy, and you have no chance there, you can do it here. This is a high place here to your right hand. But this is the gate that we love to show to everybody. I forgot this time to bring with me a chair, a seat to sit here. Next week I'll bring it on the 5th and the 8th of January. So my Congress is sitting here, you see. The old people of the village are sitting here. Please, really, if we have, do you know how to make the act of the Book of Ruth? There is no place in the country better and suitable to teach the Book of Ruth better than this place where I sit, really, where I stand. No place like this. It is original, authentical. This is a city gate from the time of Judges. Judges, before they had the king. And here the king, who is the king? The mayor of the city or the town is sitting here on his throne, his seat, chair. And here I have with me my council. You see here the elderly are sitting here. On the other side, you know, that was changed. Ahab later on changed it, you know, he made it bigger and bigger. Look above me, see this rock is original rock. This is reproducted. That is also remade. This is remade. Now the 3 rocks really was taken by Biran. It's in his home. Look what is above. That was like this. It's in his home. You know, we have really a law in Israel. We say if the professor who discovered things is still alive and he needs what he discovered for his own researches, he can take it to his home until his death. We have it really, it's a law in Israel for the Ministry of Culture. Remember the one-eyed man? He had millions of things in his home. His hobby was archaeology. With lots of signs here. Now he gave everything after his death. His daughter Yael gave it to the museum in Jerusalem. Everything. And imagine here we have this one will be put again, and this one put again, and here you have this throne of the side. And he doesn't care, you know. He doesn't care. He has lots of money. He goes, even with us in Shalom. See, and he go. Come down. There's a lady here. She has something against you. Remember the story, right? Where's the gate? Here, my counsel is here. You like to marry here? No. Okay. What you have to do, you remember? You should take his shoes. And everybody from these, what he must do? Remember? On his face, yeah. You must spit in his face. You know why? Because he refused to keep the family alive in between his brother. The one who died had no children. So if you marry here, the boy is going to be born, is going to be given to his grandmother. Remember Naomi. And this is really, this place really come and teach No place better than this place in the whole country. This is a gate from the time of Judges. It doesn't matter if they added later a high place there. That was added by the kings of Israel, Ahab and Jeroboam and all that ugly family. They added there, and they made those walls. See these walls here? They go all the way like this around the city, and they have the gate from out, and this is another gate inside. You know, if you come from there, suppose the police check you there, that's where you go. Suddenly the police here doesn't like you. He check you another time. You see, let me check you another time. Come inside, please.
Yes, a little. Rooms on either side here.
See here, he was nice, this man, you know. He said, okay, put it back outside. You see, look here what we do here. Understand who is here, right? Police. The other gate. See, these side rooms for the police. They check you another time. This is the gate. This is really, this gate is older than gate. The other gate, we think that was from the time of Ahab II. You know, Ahab II, I believe you remember, he was killed by Jehu, the son of Nimshi. Remember the story of Jehu, the son of Nimshi? He killed Ahab II, and he killed his grandmother, Jezebel. This gate is Jeroboam, from Jeroboam, here, this one. It is above the gate of Judges. That gate from Ahab II. See, the city, don't forget really, one of the main work today is what we call it the gates, the city gates. And the walls, here we walk the walls here behind you, above the Canaanite walls. You'll see more of these in our way. So,
Single file. Line cutters.
look here to the left. This is another high place. It's amazing us really how many high places for those Canaanites that they were used later by the Israelites near the city gates. Many of them. See the cultic site? This one here. It's a cultic site. You'll see more of these. You see, you are going to see more of these high places near the city gates. Remember, always the prophets, they don't volunteer, they don't compromise them. All the time we read and we hear the bitterness of the prophets against the high places, against those cultic things near the high places. See, this is the gate that was made by the Israelites. This is exactly really, you know, if you go back to the book of Judges, remember the story of the tribe of Dan. Indeed, you know how Joshua divided the country. You know, he really decided the children from Leah and Rachel, he gave them the chance to choose. You choose. Because Rachel and Leah, you know, they were the real wives of Jacob. He did not give Joseph. Joseph gave him a burial place in Nablus, in Shechem. I hope things are okay and we go tomorrow there. And then, you know, he gave his children, remember, Manasseh and Ephraim. He said, your children are equal to their uncles. He gave them exactly as he gave the others. But you choose. He said, you choose. Then he made lottery between the others. Dan was given the area near Tel Aviv, Yafa, and you remember they were not satisfied because of the swamps and the Philistines and the sand area. Therefore, they came all the way to spy the land. They spied the land, they came all the way until they arrived here. And how does it in the book of Judges? They came to a country very fertile, very wealthy. And the people who live here, they were lazy people. They were very lazy because they are very wealthy. Lazy, it is really very strange how we explain it if we are not farmers. In order to understand it, we have to be farmers. You look to the south from here, I have Hula Lake area. Lots of water, fertile land not far away from here. Lots of land, but swamps. To the west, I go from here all the way to Tyre Sidon, all the way to Phoenicia. Remember Jesus in his way to this Canaanite woman, you remember, she said, please, my daughter. He said, woman, I come to the lost sheep of my nation. His way, this is his way, really, all the way like this. You go, if you like, from here to Lebanon, to the Mediterranean Sea, you do it walking, 3 hours. You can walk it from here, all the way like this. Easy walk, really, to Sidon, Sarafand, that way. This is the way of the sea, like this. You go from here up all the way to Damascus. And this is BC. Everything here, you remember, this is BCE or BC. Everything. So those people, when they came here, they saw the land fertile and nice. They went back to where? To Dan, Tel Aviv, Herzliya. They told their people, please come up. Good land. But they were in need of what? They are in need of a priest. Do you remember the story of the priest that they brought in their way up to near Nabi Samuel area? They said, they found a Levite there. They said, which is better, to be a priest for one family or to be a priest for a big tribe? Big tribe, you make good money. He said, okay, I'll go with you. He went all the way up with them to where? To this place. Those people, they brought with them, you know, their furniture. The people from Dan, really, they brought their furniture. I wish you see their furniture. Their furniture were big jars, made of pottery, made from pottery, and everything in the jars. They used the jars, the big jars, pottery, made from pottery, ceramics, and their thing, they brought it with them on their jars. And that suitcase, exactly, really, 100%, this is the idea. And where they brought them, you see this area here, under these oak trees, this area exactly, the area that it is revealed now from the time of the judges, before the judges, and they put their furniture under the houses of the Canaanites, the local people of this land before the tribe of Dan came here. All those jars, we collected them and we put them in the Israeli Museum. Some of them are down here in this museum, including the little jars for the cultic services. You see. And indeed, it's very strange how you collect all what you have on those, you said suitcases. Don't take things to your heart. Sometimes when I go to the airport to pick a group, I see these Russians come from East Russia, East Europe. All their furniture, really, they bring what? In one suitcase. Some people, when they come here, they say, no, impossible. How come they bring all your furniture in a jar? It is it. They brought it in jars. And as we find it, it's still really, in here, you know, they used to bury their people under their houses. In this place, we have a famous tomb. It is really all the furniture of the house they found with the famous tomb under this oak tree in some place here. With those people, the Canaanites. The judges took this place and they call it what? After the name of their father. What the name of the father was? Dan. What's the meaning of Dan? You know Dan? Judge. That means that the Arabs, the Muslims, call this place Tal el-Qadi. Tal el-Qadi. Judge means Qadi. Tal el-Qadi. This is the name how it is called by the Arabs and the Muslims. So you are welcome to the area of the judges. Here. Thinks that everything is army, right? He said, listen, I have the right once to say, let us say like 1250 BC. You walk really above 1250 BC under your feet. So how many years from the 3,500 years between that time and this time? I don't believe. I said, how you don't believe? Sometimes we, the man, very stubborn, the man. Sometimes I say to my wife, I can live without you. I can clean the house. I clean it from dust. Believe me, Dr. Hafar. She was in Lebanon about 2 months. I said, I clean it. In the morning I clean it. In the evening I find dust. But like, what happened? This day I am okay, next day I am okay, later I am okay. Then I said, oh God, I cannot do it. If each day, I have at least, let us say, 1/5 of the millimeter of dust, go make me, in your calculator today, I have 3,000 years, 500, 4,000 years. How many dust I have here? Only from the wind. Erosion and other things don't add it. Only wind. And come up.
The city is 2 meters under the ground here.
The same. Man, all of them are the same. Until they bite their finger. Oh, where's my wife?
See the canopy that's placed over this gate to protect it is dug out and then covered back up.
You see, if you go to the book of Genesis, I believe 14, the end of chapter 14. Please really go to the Genesis 14. It's 14, I think. In 14, what you read, 14, after Lot and Abraham, they had troubles together. Remember, they were really have problems together. Then he says, why to have troubles, why we have to fight? If you go to the east, I go to the west. If you go to the west, I go to the east. Then Lot took the area of Sodom. Remember Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, Seboim, that area, see. And then suddenly the kings, they invaded Lot, and they took all his property. You remember the story, his sheep, his goats, his camels, his slaves. And then he was in need of his home, his uncle, to come to help him. He called his uncle, he was in Hebron maybe, and he came down, and it is written really in the chapter there, it is written, and Abraham followed those thieves from Sodom to Dan. He followed the thieves from Sodom to Dan, to this place. And then he succeeded to take everything back home to his nephew, and suddenly his nephew says to his uncle, please take something for you. Abraham says, oh God, I'm afraid that they will say that I am get rich because of the duty I did. No, but give little thing to the slave, to the servants that they were with me. We think really that Abraham entered the Holy Land from Haran. Look, that's the area. If you look up to the east, northeast, that's the area where Abraham came to this country, from Haran. If you go all the way like this, then you continue to Syria, you continue to Iraq, to Ur. You go later to Ur Kesadim. You remember Ur in the Bible? Ur is the country where Abraham came. And he came from here. And I don't know why our biblical scholars, teachers of Bible, they believe that this is the gate where Abraham entered from. This is the gate. This is the oldest gate we have in our country. The oldest. And if your eyes will be very well, the gate is filled. You see the filling of the gate? You see it, right? And the gate is an arch. You agree? You see the arch? Did you take the picture of the arch and remember it? And it is made from mud. Mud. And in the mud there is no straw. No straw. And it is really, we compare this one by the gates that they have in Mesopotamia and Iraq. And it looks like the same material, the ones in Iraq in Ur and behind Ur. In those days, nobody knew how to make the arch in this country. And this is an arch. After you go inside the gate, you turn to the right, and then you continue in this paved road, really. It was really revealed. 5 years ago, we used to go from this gate all the way inside, and then they decided to protect it. You know why? How you protect archaeological sites? By bury them again. We buried that again, really. Look how much money they have to make in order to protect this gate. Many times we say the people, don't go, and look what there's danger, and everybody goes. And this is the gate, the famous gate of the walls. See, these are the walls of the Canaanites. See, they go all the way like this, and they go all the way like this. We believe the Canaanites, they decided to close the gate, to bury the gate. The Canaanites, they said it is not safe to have it, so they close it. You see, if you go all the way up to the right, like let's say, like, indeed, you can make like 2 miles around Dan. Dan was a very big Canaanite site, like a circle like this. You see, part of the walls of the mud, they are really higher than this. Higher than, but the same building, all the way around built from bricks. Bricks from the mud, the local mud bricks. So let us call it the gate of like 1900 BC gate.
Now this wall followed. No, that was 312, all the way to the town.
Oh, go to the town, yeah. You see the road, the paved road? You go to the town, the judges, the city of the judges. We have a picture really of this. We have a picture of this in the Israeli Museum. I'm sure what I speak because really we come many, many times here. I use, maybe each year I come 4 times. I use since the 70s, you know, the upper 70s. Then suddenly they said, you know, these, they come down, they fall, slowly they fall, then they decided to bury everything again and to make this plastic thing above this gate. Yeah.
There's a fence and a road right down here below us, and that is the Lebanese border. Literally, we can throw a rock over into Lebanon from here. Might hit a mine, so we better not. Well, Tim just did. Well, good luck for that one.
See this rock in my hand? This rock? That's Syria.
Oh.
This is Syria. The stone in Syria, occupied by the Israelis. See the border with this valley here, goes all the way. See the cactus tree? Goes all the way like this, goes to this bunker of the Syria. You see there's a tank here, you see it?
Yeah.
It's a Syrian tank. Yeah. Then you go up all the way, you see the Israeli road? To go up to the top of this mountain. See the mountain over there? I am pointing for the Israeli army there. That is Mount Betarim. We call it Mount Betar or Betarim. You know, the translation, the mountain of the circumcision of Abraham. It's believed that he there, God said Abraham. This is suggested by the rabbis. So these are the slopes of Mount Hermon. You see Mount Hermon slope. You see, all of them are really Mount Hermon. Look here to this castle here. See the Crusade castle? Nimrod. Nimrod castle. Nimrod, that's Nimrod. That's in Syria. Nimrod in Syria. Now that is Lebanon. Those are the Lebanese villages. See them? Lebanese villages. Now this village, you see this village? Is indeed, this is Lebanese village. Now our friends, the Israelis, say no, that this is Syrian village. Doesn't matter, we don't want to make United Nations, but this is a Lebanese village, was given to Syria after Khartoum conference. No problem. You see this piece of land? See this piece of flat area? It is here. You see, you ask me where are the sources. You see the hives, you see the white hives.
You ever seen Earn the Save Christmas? What? Earn the Save Christmas. That's it.
Please be careful.
When he's trying to make a sale going in this, trying to go in there and take Santa Claus in the movie theater, in the movies, the rest. And, you know, he has his old hat on, he's just.
It was made by the Muslim culture.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Guillotine machine. You put a quarter in, stick your head in, you got no more problems. After the death of Solomon, the kingdom was split in 2 pieces. One small piece was given to Rehoboam. Rehoboam was the son of Solomon, and his main city was Lachish. really, if you like to make this subject perfect, you have to go to Lachish and to Beersheba. And he made 2 altars. Jeroboam made 2 altars. Jeroboam was the first. He was the slave of Solomon. He took the northern kingdom from here all the way until throwing stone from Jerusalem, really, until Bethel. From here to Bethel, all the way down to Benjamin, was in the hands of Jeroboam. And he made 2 altars, one in the north, this one, and one down in Bethel. And he said to the Jewish people, to the northern tribes, why to go to Jerusalem? You go to make your Hajj, your pilgrimage, either to Dan or to Bethel. And he put in the altar of Bethel a little golden calf. I remember really when I used to teach the Bible, I used to think the calf was this size. Please, really, this is why one of my faults. Everywhere now I meet my students, those beautiful students, I tell them, I was wrong, change it. It's small size, like this size. Small size golden calf, like this size, exactly, really, you see? And he put a golden calf also in this place. And here he made a very typical building, the same like the one in Jerusalem, that was made by Solomon. Let us go to this place inside and look what he did. This is Jeroboam. You look, even it's very helpful, really. And Jeroboam ordained a feast, and he offered up on the altar, sacrificing unto the calves, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered up on the altar and burnt incense. You will be now really astonished to know that we found here bones of pigs. We found really, and we examined them, bones of pigs near this altar. We examined them. And maybe I will show you some of those bones in some place here, maybe. Let us go inside to this very... We love to read at children's schools. We will not spoil it. To show you the bones.
Do be careful. Your balance.
See, I don't really think, even one, see, look here, we will retain back, please. Can you catch it? Those bones of pigs, really, we examined them. We had lots of them here. You go there inside, in your fingers, you can find more of them. These are bones of, they used to kill the sacrifice here, this place. This is the table where they used to kill. This is where they used to let the blood go and wash it. And then they put it here. See where they put it? And then they take it up to the altar. It is easy now to follow the altar. Look here, please come and see. The middle of the altar is up, the table was there. This is the second altar. The altar, the first altar is down below. Please look at the altar of Jeroboam. You see the altar of Jeroboam? Please look your eyes and you see how you see 2 edges. Very easy to see the 2 edges. No? You agree? See, look, this is the size of the altar of Jeroboam. Okay. The table. Ahab made it higher, see, and bigger. How we know that it made it higher? Because of the steps you are going on. See? The steps is to go to this level. They estimate that. And then, look what we are doing. Whatever. I don't say that they kill pigs. Please don't judge me from my tongue. I don't say that they kill pigs. I said we found bones of pigs over there. It's important to maybe. And look here what we are doing. I want you to remember Jerusalem here. This area is the area of the altar. You bring your sacrifice You give it to the priest. You see the man over there? The man, what is your name? Here he is there with his hand. You see, priest who used to stand here. Look where the high priest is. Standing here. You, the priest here, I have priest here, priest there. You kill the blood, you give me the blood, and I go inside to where? To the very most holy place in behind me. Altar is there. Please, you following me. This is the building. A building with a wall and with a roof here. A roof here, a building here. These are the steps I receive the blood. For the incense, you burn it there. I burn the incense around this place. Usually the incense, they burn it there. You see the altar of the horns. You remember the idiom. 1 horn, 2 horn, 4 horns. The altar of the horns, you don't know it. That's really sacred, that's holy. And if you are there, suppose you come there, suppose you do a crime, and you escape, and you are there with this gentleman is there, nobody touch you. If you leave this area, it's okay to touch you and to kill you. But if you are there, you are in a holy place. You escape to a holy place. Here I am standing where you give me the blood, I go inside. That's in the open air, because lots of incense you burn there. Lots of blood you make there, smelly. Not everybody can take the incense. You see, look, those rooms, they found the famous shovels. They put them today in the Israeli Museum in Jerusalem. Big shovel, you know the shovel? Shovel.
Shovel.
And when I see big shovel, it's not a spoon. Today, if you go to the churches, of the Oriental churches, you find the incense, the priest put it with a little small spoon. Why small spoon? Because they don't have enough incense. In those days, if you have more than usual incense, how you burn it? Look, by what? By shovel. It means you have lots of that. You see, please don't forget this. But the other technical things is easy. See the roots? The roots catch between them what? The rocks of the holy place behind you, or that was changed really by whom? By Ahab. Ahab made it nicer than Jeroboam. So Jeroboam was the grandfather. Ahab came later. He decided to do some changes. All with the changes make things better, look better. But you see the designs here. Look, the two designs. See, look, this is the design. This is really original here. Original. And this is reconstructed. You see, this is the design of Ahab. Ahab. This is Jeroboam. Ahab above Jeroboam. That's it. This is the high place. And now you remember the biblical idiom from Dan to Beersheba. You put them Hellenism here. When I said pigs, really, I did not hear any question from you. This is Hellenism. Prepared from that. I use these things in my speeches many times. Indeed, I hope this for everything I see. I use them when I go to find my friends, those that I tease them and they tease me.
These are the priestly houses along the side of the temple area. I'm on the steps leading up to the temple area.
From iron, you know, and iron, it's not good. You know why? The iron eats the stones. What they made it from? Wood. It was only from
They put
wood.
wood for a gate post.
And it goes all the way like really half a circle wood like this. We have them here in this museum, these hinges.
This is looking backwards coming in. Down there was the first gate by Ahab II, where we first came in. We came around, and then as you see the tops of that was the gate during the period of the judges. And you come on around, and you came up this hill, and there was originally the gate of the people of Dan who settled this during the settlement when the people moved north. Here's the entrance to Tel Dan. While we're waiting on the bus, we're across the road and the kibbutz avocado farm, and you can see some avocados here.
Like in California, they're green, they're brown and green. And this woman's saying, "Oh, avocados, avocados." They say, "No, that's walnuts, walnuts."
We're entering the area of Caesarea Philippi.
This is Caesarea Philippi? Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Caesarea Philippi.
Beautiful water up here at the mouth of the Jordan River.
Yeah, please.
And I think it would be suitable that we have a prayer of thanksgiving for the building of the church, the starting of the church that's promised at this place. And so we'll have a prayer. And would you lead us in a prayer after the reading?
When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? They say unto him, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, others Elias, or Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He asked them, saying, But whom do ye say that I am? And Simon Peter answering said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. He said, Blessed art thou, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed this unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And he charged his disciples that they should tell no man that he was the Christ.
Philippi. Who was Philippi? He was the son of Herod the Great. The son of Herod. His name was Philip. Remember his wife later, what the relationship between her and Herod Antipas. Remember the head of John the Baptist and was given that big ceremony that night, because of the wife of Philip. This is his village, or the town of Philippi. The continuation of Dan, really. It is good that we did what we did today. Indeed, very few groups do what we did. You go first to Dan, and then as even we forget, because no more New Testament there, we come to the New Testament town. The town that was also built on the Via Maris, the way of the sea, all the way up. The sources of the River Jordan. You see the River Jordan, Banyas, used to come from there, from this cave. We believe there was an earthquake. We can prove the earthquake really very easy here in this where we are. And all this level was broken down about 12 yards from this level to where we have the sources today, like this. We have in this cave, we have a system, a man-made system, like a well, man-made. And we read lots of things really, especially from the Jewish historians, especially Josephus, how he describes the way of sacrificing the goats, the blood of the goats on this well. They used to kill the goat, someplace here, I'll show you where, and then they used to put the blood on that cave, on that well or cistern, and when they used to see the blood comes outside from there, then the God is happy, the God is satisfied. The God who was here, the boss God of this area, was the God of the roads. The name of this God was Pan, P-A-N, Pan. Why we call him the God of the roads? Because merchants, those money makers, they used to worship this God. And they used to sacrifice for him the goats, especially really the goats. Usually we see him in his famous statue with the statue of the goat head and with the flute in his hands. And that is the God the young people loved. Why the young? Because here the young people, they used to release themselves, from all those moralities. Especially here in this area, we read also about this in Eusebius. If you like to read Eusebius, who was the historian from Caesarea. Amazing us really. He was in the 5th century AD, and he wrote about worshipping Pan in the Byzantine village, Byzantine town, Caesarea. And a monk, he says, a monk prayed and prayed and prayed here, and after they put the blood in this place, it is how it is Eusebius wrote, he put lots of blood there, and the blood did not go outside. and to the water, the blood came up from the same place they put it. And then they understood, those Greeks, that Pan is not more powerful. Let us forget to worship Pan and start a new worshiping here. Amazing us, the Greek mythology continued to be in this area until the 5th century AD. This is really very strange. But this is the place where we believe they used to worship Pan, the god of the panica, the god of the homosexuality, the god of all these immoralities they used to practice in this place. You stand in front of these niches. See this niche? Above this, you read something in the tray. Can you see the Greek language there? Somebody made the niche above that, and there was a little statue there in this place for Augustus Caesar. Augustus. The title of Augustus was the Son of God. Now you remember when Jesus asked the disciples what the people say am I, Peter added only one thing. He said, you are the Son of the living God. It happened here. You see, look, this is a rock. This is a rock. What does it say? Jesus, it is written really somebody, his name was Victor here. He made this as a gift for the god of the panica. See this? He made it for the god of the panica. The other one also is somebody else. The other one, somebody else. We have a little small carving on the rock there for the goddess of Nemesis. You know, later we said about Nemesis. She was the goddess of the revenge. The Greek goddess for the revenge in some place there. I'm going to walk with you in all these places that they were for the goats. All of them for the goats. But look, before we go, see, this is the rock. You see the rock? And that's the cave. Look what you have in the cave. In the cave, usually we have the crimes. We read about practicing all those evils in this cave. If you go from a distance and you take a picture, really, it looks like a gate. Looks like a gate. Why rock is important in our country? Because if you make your home on sand and there will be a rain or snow, then your home is gone, finished, destroyed. But if your home is built above a rock, it is strong forever. See what Jesus is saying to Peter, really very easy, you know. Jesus says, he sees that. You are a rock, like the rock. And the gates of hell, you see the gates of evil? This is the gate of evil, are not going to overcome my church. That's it. What Jesus is saying, really, he sees in his eyes. See, let's make a little walk here. If you stand there, don't move, you know. And somebody else will stand there, the same level. You see the floor here, this floor?
Floor for the Temple of Pan.
You know what happened? You see it, no?
There's another one of the release. One of the pillars.
Oh yeah, where the Greek letters are cut out. This is really for Nemesis, the goddess of the revenge.
This is.
I wanted your eyes to see. See, the roof was exactly above this niche. There was a roof. See, the roof all the way above these niches, like this. You see, look above the niches. You have the Greek language above this niche. You see it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you go a little bit further up, about more than 1 yard. You have another Greek inscription there. You see it? That's really, it is a dedication to the goddess of the revenge, Nemesis, her name, or Nimsi, her name. Nimsi. The main two gods here. I don't know why, if you put together revenge with Pan, they go together. Pan, you know, no morality. Whatever you like to do, do. So usually if you don't have...
Oh, yeah.
See these little... They look like little windows. You see them? Everybody see these little windows? We found here really something strange. Indeed, this was found at, let us remember this name, and our archaeological teachers, his name is Professor Svika. He's a young Svi. But you know, we call him Svika just to let him feel that he is young child still. Svika. Zvika promised us, believe me really, since more than 2 years that this place is going to put signs, he said. You know, something written here. 2 years. I don't know how much budget they need for it. You know what I speak? This is Greek mythology. Suppose my finger, I have pains in my finger. I go to somebody here, he makes me like a finger. And I go and put it here. So I believe later on my finger is going to be what? Healed. You understand what I say? This was found here. So this, they believe that this god or this Nimsi, goddess of revenge, she's going to heal me. So I put what I have. I don't know if we have something today in the world like this in some places. I think we have like this. Sometimes you love the goat, you keep it. Why to kill it? So at the end, she's going to die. So where they used to bury them, they used to bury them here, in this place. You see, this is the temple of the goats. And the time of Agrippa, this is the palace, you see behind it. It is good if you look behind you. You see, we still have some building, you see there, take care please, you see the cave, you see the cave. There's a wall with some niches, you see them right? From there all the way until those boys standing there, the tapestry behind them, like really 100 yards length, the palace of Herod Philippi and then Herod Agrippa II.
Palace of
Herod
Agrippa in Philippi.
In front of them, they had a little big room here, let us say, little big room, I say in purpose really, that they used to call it the Palace of the Echo. The Palace of the Echo.
Palace of the Echo.
Echo. You know why Echo? Echo was like to make such kind of a music before they used to practice those immoralities in this place. Music, you know, when you go to orchestra, Let me show you the place where they used to grow or to keep the goats, the holy goats. They keep the goats before they used to make the ceremony. Such kind of a
Look at the Greek inscription there.
The house on top is a Drew's house of prayer. Building's about 70 years old.
The larger one down there, see him, Tony?
There's one flip.
See if you were to throw something in there.
Hold on just a second, it's focusing on it. There we go.
We throw something in there small.
Oh, there's a good size one there. The source of the River Jordan. Cave to the god Pan.
The last week, since last, by this Hezbollah, nobody is going to leave. Nobody.
I think Tim wants to stop here for lunch while Antone is talking on the phone. Mighty Joe's Pizza Fish Restaurant. Since Thurman likes fish, we can let him eat here. In Tennessee, we have cornfields. Here they have banana orchards. And this is an avocado orchard that we're coming up on. There's tangerine orange. Tim was wrong, and I can't see through the viewfinder. Bananas again. We've stopped on the edge of the Sea of Galilee. We're fixing to eat lunch. It's a little after 1 o'clock, and we're going to eat in this restaurant. And the specialty is St. Peter's fish. And I'm going to get a picture of Tim and I eating fish.
I guess they replenish those stones quite often if everybody throws as many off in the water.
Yeah. This is the Sea of Galilee. It's much smaller than you really think it is. This is the place of cuisine where we ate, and it was all right. I chickened out and did not eat the fish. I ate chicken.
Used to listen to him. What they used to say? You remember what they used to say? This man teaches in another way. Remember that? This is it really. He doesn't teach as the others. He teaches in charisma, charismatic, in charisma, in power, in power. So this is where we go now to Capernaum and.
All these beautiful flowers on the outside of the area of Capernaum.
Well, yeah, different costumes moved, right? Okay, remember, Prince John took over because his brother King Richard was off.
You see, Kfar, Kfar means village in Hebrew, in Aramaic, in Arabic. Kfar means village. Remember the name. In many places, it is in something. In means spring, spring of something. Kfar means village. We have many places in this country named Kfar something. Kfar something. So when we say, for instance, Kfar Nahum, listen, you cannot say the I know. Kfar Nahum. Nawum, how you say in your language. Nawum. I remember Khorazin, not far away from here. Some people, they say Chorazin. We ask them why you say Chorazin. They say this is written like this in King James translation. Chorazin. When you call for something, lehachriz. In Hebrew, lehachriz, it means when you call somebody. Karaz, or to teach you, lehachriz. So, when I say the area again, do you remember our drive from here all the way up to Badias Dan, all the way like this. Dan, the area of Naphtali, like this. See? Naphtali. From here to the east, Manasseh. I love Josephus Flavius. I hope you will read his books. One of his books, you know how Josephus said the border, very strange man read. He says, at the border between Manasseh and Naphtali, the white puppies. Very strange man. See, if you come really another month, next month, and you walk in this area where you see the white puppies, they are Manasseh. Where you see the red puppies are Naphtali. Imagine that. And indeed, we can make a border like this. So since everybody is here, look what is a nice thing to shoot a picture for. Kfar Nahum, the village of Nahum. The village of Nahum. Who was this Nahum? Nobody really knows. If you take a book written by some of our friends, Jewish biblical scholar or learner, we have many of them. Everybody knows Hebrew. He believes he is a biblical scholar in this country. Nahum, Nahum was not Nahum, was not the prophet Nahum. Remember, Nahum is buried in North Iraq. So this was a village written like village of somebody, his name Nahum. If he was a wealthy man, believe me, he wasn't. These people, they had no money. Fishermen. And fisherman is not a great job in this country in those days. The sea is not easy. Many times the sea is rough, many times the sea is windy, many times you have those storms, and many times you need somebody from Nazareth to say to the sea, be still, here I am. Where you can find him? Not always really is available. You see, this is why those fishermen, they had hard times. A village of fishermen. So how we take it, I tell you, Nahum in Hebrew Aramaic means to make somebody happy, to let somebody rejoice, to let somebody feel comfortable. And this is the job of Jesus. So this is the village of Jesus. If you allow us in Muin Abu Wain to write here, we will write really Capernaum, the free clinic of Dr. Jesus from Nazareth. That's how we write. Capernaum, the free clinic of Dr. Jesus from Nazareth. He was rejected in his town, Nazareth. He came down to where? To Capernaum, and he took it as his clinic, his school, his everything for 3 years. 3 years. And 3 years he used to go from here all the way via the Decapolis, Jericho, and then Mount of Olives up to Jerusalem. This is Jesus Christ and the 3 years. Did his people, his friends, his brothers, his sisters forget him? The answer is no. They used to come down to see him. You remember once they came, this is in the gospel, they came here and they said, hey, your friends, your brothers and sisters, our mother. They said, oh, not my brothers, not my sisters. Everybody, what? Who listens to the word of God and he makes the word of God is my brother and my sister. It happened here in Capernaum. So welcome to Kafar.
Look at all the beautiful flowers.
No one tourist, no one pilgrim come to the Holy Land and don't come to visit this place. We have really government statistica about the sites of the Holy Land. This is site number 1 in the Holy Land. Imagine. And this is the city of Jesus, the town of Jesus. And I'd like only to give you a little light why Jesus started his ministry here. What's special in this place? Remember the Via Maris. The way, how we call it, the way of the sea. The way of the sea. What the main stuff on the way of the sea, what we have, what they used to sell and to buy in this way. Slaves. Slaves. Imagine you are Jesus, Tony, sitting here, and you have many slaves come up and down like this. You go to this man, why do they have to enslave you? Who said this man is better than you? Why do they have to sell you in money? Why do they have to buy in you? You know, he brought Christianity, Jesus Christ first to those slaves. And those slaves used to go to where? Up to Damascus. I used to ask my students many times, who brought the light of Christianity to the people of Damascus? You know how they used to answer me quickly? St. Paul. No, not St. Paul. You know what St. Paul used to do with those Christians? You know that, right? He used to go what? To arrest them and to bring them where? To Jerusalem to be persecuted. No? Sure. He got blind in some place, and then he went to somebody, his name was Naaman, and he healed him. And then, you know, the subject, we have to start it again, really. Jesus and the slaves in the way of the sea. This is the way of the sea. The second point, remember, this is the meeting between the Jewish tribes. This is important, really. Each time I keep repeating that, not because I wanted to waste the time to say something. I say Naphtali, Asher, Zebulun, Issachar, Manasseh, Dan, Gad, Reuben. Not for no reason. There was a reason. Here the tribes meet around the Sea of Galilee. It is good to have people of faith. Always good, really. Jewish people were always in those days people of faith. The other side, you have the hypocritics. Hypocritics. The people that they have to say something for no reason. There are many people like this, so they have to say something. We have them. You know, really, I've been a teacher many times. I used to go to make sometimes lectures here and there. Somebody would tell me, dear teacher, can I add something? Okay, please add. He has nothing. He wants to say something. Let him say. You know, if it makes him happy, let him say. Those are the hypocrites. Don't forget the third point here. You have to study this, boy, young fellows. Study that. The shopping centers around the Sea of Galilee. Remember the 3 shopping centers: Magdala, Gerasa, or Gerasin, and up in this area we have Bethsaida. People, you know, how many times a year they used to make shopping? Can you tell me, Timothy, how many years? Maybe 3 times. It is, you know, maximum 3 times. 3 times I take my children, all of them together, my wife with me. After I finish shopping 2-3 hours, you know what I do? I go to this foolish man, his name is Jesus from Nazareth. He will give me to eat, he will heal me, he will give free. Somebody paid him something? No, really. He said once to the people, no? He said, am I not foolish? I am not foolish. I know why you follow me. If I don't have something to feed you, He wasn't a chicken. Jesus really was not a chicken. He was a great man, a great revolutionist. But he needs the people, and the people needs him. Really, everybody, after you finish shopping, you come with your children, come with your wife, and you do it here, and you listen to this man. If you like it, you like it. You don't like it, you take hamburger free, and you go back home. This is Jesus really in this area. Don't forget the shopping center around the Sea of Galilee. 3 of them. 1, Magdala, Gerasa, and Bethsaida. 1 to the east, 1 to the west, 1 to the north. This is Jesus. And between them, you have the 2 free clinics. One of them, Capharnaum. One of them is Gennesaret. Gennesaret. It is down to the south. The third subject you have to remember, this is the mythology. I really don't say this vainly. I did not speak in the morning about the pigs for no reason. Remember, I did not say Zeus for no reason. I did not say this Poseidon, the god of the sea, for no reason. I wanted you to go with Jesus for a second and to remember this great man. At the end, they say the people, all of them are amazed. Say, what kind of man is this man? Even sea and wind obey him. He is the God of everything. He is above the nature. The one who, if you make something and getting bad, you fix it. If you don't know how to fix it, you don't make it. If you make it, you know how to fix it. And Jesus here, this is the mythology around the Sea of Galilee. Remember Phoenicians and the wind. Remember Poseidon and the Romans. Remember the Zeus and the Greeks. And the same time here, we have to come to the fourth subject is the meeting between the three brothers. From here to the north, Philippi. We've been to Caesarea of Philippi and Antioch. From here to the south to Jerusalem, this is Herodes Antipas. Herodes Antipas. From here to the south, Archelaus. Remember Archelaus, one of the brothers, the three brothers. Now look, you come late. What I do with you, the first night you come late with the Olympic Airlines, right? What I did with you, I took you to a hotel not far away from the airport. Now, if you go from here up to Philip via this area, you come late. What I do with you, I put you in this hotel. You see, this is a motel, Holiday Inn Hotel. You see it here? You see, this is really a motel, a road motel. Please come and see, come and see. Try to prove that this is a motel. You see the rooms, you see the self-service restaurant, you see the laundry, it is here. So you come here, not only south, in the valley of the shadow of the death. In the death, they live in the desert. No rain, no green, no life. That's the desert. People in the darkness to the south. The Hippocratics, these cities, the Decapolis. People in the way of the sea. People, the Gentiles, the Decapolis, the 10 cities, they saw what? A great light. Where is the light of the world? He is here. Somebody says, no, he is wrong. The light of the world, Jesus says about himself what? I am the light of the world. I am. There are two kinds of people. I don't care really. Some people, they say the Messiah. I say Yahweh. Yahweh. You know Yahweh, Jehovah? That's it. We change his name to what? To Jesus Christ. That's it. You agree? I don't know if I change your faith. But this is one of my... this is really one of my... I don't count them. So if I feed 5,000 people from how many fish? Two fish and 5 bread, okay, I can be a king. I can feed Ethiopia in one day. You know, what's wrong with this? But hey, dear Peter, I am nothing. I don't want to be. In Mount Tabor, remember the Transfiguration? And Peter said that, and he did not mean it really. He did not mean it. Peter always must say something. He did not like it. I don't want to say he's a Hippocratic, but maybe, you know, I don't touch his Roman Catholic place. Peter was from Bethsaida, not from Capharnaum. His mother-in-law was from Capharnaum. Another part really in the life of Peter, the Catholics don't like it. He had a mother-in-law. He was married. Yeah, sure. No, I don't know if you like the Pope to be married or not. You see, under this church, you see the house, it looks like a round figure house. It's octagonal really, 8 sides. But please go inside the house in your eyes. Go inside. There are steps. You see the steps? The moment you go inside the house and you see steps, the steps they lead you to a roof. No way, people were not crazy at all. Since all the ages, you know, the moment you see steps, after you go in, you see the steps to the left. The steps lead up to the roof. So this is a very special house in the life of Jesus. Maybe this is the house where they draw in front of him the paralyzed man. You remember the withered man, the paralyzed, when they brought him and there was no way to go because it was always busy. Yeah, then they go up, they made a dig in the roof and they draw him down in the front of Jesus. So this is the house of his mother-in-law. Peter's mother-in-law was given to Jesus, to Peter. Maybe she had no sons really, no sons. She gave it to her daughter, and the disciples and Jesus, they use this place all the time as a meeting place. So this is a house that was used later as a meeting place. I mean what I say. Meeting place. For the first Christians, the church as a building, you know, the building, the walls, the church, it was like your home, like my home. Like any home where brothers sit together and sisters sit together, then Jesus comes between them. It is written, if 2 of you or 3 of you sit together in my name, I will be in between them. This is the building, the octagonal site, continue to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, meeting place was used for the Jewish Christians. Remember the subject, you have lots of good literature written about this subject really. Jewish Christians in this place, in this area. See, Jewish Christians. They did not meet with the Gentiles Christians. The Gentiles Christians, they used to meet together alone. Jewish Christians, they used to meet alone. They did not get along together until the 4th century. Do you remember Peter, for instance? Peter was, which group he was? From the Jewish Christian group. Maybe this is the church that was used all the time by the Jewish Christians. Let us say a meeting place for the Jewish Christians. The house of the meeting. Nice job, really, those Roman Catholics, but amazing us why the Roman Catholics, they made the dig to the Greek Orthodox. It's really strange. See, again, really remember, anything black is the time of Jesus. Leave everything not black if you are smart. Anything not black really is not important. Take the black. See the black pavement? Look here down in front of you. This black pavement goes all the way under this white building, all the way. So this white building, which we call the White Synagogue, or the synagogue of the 4th century, was built above the synagogue at the time of Jesus. We did not find another public building in Capernaum. No other public building really in Capernaum. The only public building was found in Capernaum is this building, the black pavement, and it goes all the way underneath this white synagogue, all the way. So what is the synagogue is? You know what the synagogue, right? Synagogue is what? It's a public building where people meet together. They meet together. What they do when they meet? Yes, you know, really, I'm sure you know. It is nice. It's not a dangerous subject to think about.
That worship.
Yeah, they discuss their daily problems, really, and then they worship. 10 together. Look, 10 people here, we are 10. We discuss our daily problem. Whatever, any problem you have, we discuss it 10. 10 here, 10 here. At the end, you come to the eldest between you, and the oldest between you, he gives the answer. After we finish, suppose we are Jewish Christians. What we do, I tell you, brothers and sisters, let us break bread together. The service is finished. That's it. You see, this is very simple, really. Before we made this liturgy and those things in these days, in those big organized churches, or where you have this hierarchy in churches. But this is it. This is the synagogue from it. Who made the synagogue for the people of Capernaum? Remember the centurion of Capernaum. Really, a man from the Gentiles, he built the synagogue to the Jewish community in Capernaum. They were in need of Jesus. You remember that? He was really in need of Jesus. I think his servant died, no? His servant, he went outside where George is parking outside, and he said, please don't come to my home. I am a sinner. I am a man that have an authority. I can't just say this, go and this come and come. Don't come out. Yeah, the centurion. This is why we believe this place was used later by the Gentiles Christians. Don't forget this subject. If you love to discuss it, to read it, it's a good really literature written by Father Jim Borchel. Don't be afraid from the name. He was dismissed from the Roman Catholic Church. Father Jim Borchel was the head of Notre Dame University, Department Theology. Today he is in Princeton, New Jersey. Remember his name, Jim Borchel. I hope really he finished his book about the Jewish Christians and Gentiles Christians after Jesus.
We're inside this Jewish synagogue now.
I really drive. His books are sweet as even really you enjoy what you read everything. I dismissed him because he was very radical against Mary. He was very radical against Mary. He wrote lots of articles about her. He doesn't care if Mary has children or Jesus. He was the head of the department of theology, German. You see this is synagogue above that synagogue. You know this, the old synagogue is under your feet, about 1 meter below. And this is the synagogue of the 4th, 5th century. You see the 3 naves, 1, 2, 3 naves. You see the 2 people, they are sitting on the seats. Their backs are to the west. Those of the sit, their backs are to the Golden Heights, you see, to the east. The scroll, they must be in the middle. So you never back to the scrolls. The moment you finish the synagogue, you go like this. You back, reverse. If there was another floor from the other side, you see the door, there's a door above. We believe that was for the women. Doesn't say that they used to separate women from men, really. Don't mistake in that. Jewish women usually don't go to the service. But if there's a woman to go to the service, it's okay. But usually, Jewish women don't go to the service. I don't want to be a rabbi. Today we have lots of those Orthodox rabbis, you know. Why Jewish women cannot go to the service? Because she's a woman. She can, suppose I here divide you 10 here, and you know, discuss a subject. Let us discuss a subject. You know the subject Gina gave, is it okay to make a telephone call in Sabbath? We discuss it. These people, they discuss why the inflation in Israel last year was 8%. You see. There is a woman here, she doesn't want to hear all this discussion all the time. Don't see them sometimes, not only women today, we see men like this. So what I say, if I am here with the 10, I say, please, woman, if you cannot, if you don't care, please, go up. Sit alone. And also, I don't know, I was in the Christ Church in Mount Pleasant in Texas once. A very nice service. But sometimes if I go to these services in these churches someplace here, I sit with this gentleman, you know. Somebody enters there and I say, in the service, you see, as the priest or the minister is preaching something, and we speak about somebody, you know, he tells me a story. What's wrong with this? You don't have like this. I hope you don't have like this, but we have it. You know, so then I say, why you have to come? Why you are to feel obliged to come here? Please don't feel that you are compelled to come here. Go up, tell your stories in the upper part. You say, excommunicated. If you like to punish somebody, you know what you do with him? Excommunicate him from what? From the synagogue. It was a great punishment they used to punish St. Paul, no? Really, a great punishment. Excommunicate him from the synagogue. It's a synagogue for the 4th century. Let's go. Really, let's go there.
Well, and then he shakes his head away a little bit.
These are some of the pieces behind the synagogue of Capernaum. Some of this is the black stuff, which probably must be dated to the time of Christ. Particularly these rocks. Here's the mosaic from Magdala, City of Mary.
The olive oil goes with the water when you see
Olive
the other
press.
pit. The water goes down
To get
and
olive
the
oil.
olive oil is up. because it is like then you take it home and the water you leave it. The people in this area, maybe. Anyway, we go now to Tabgha.
Mount of the Beatitudes.
Tabgha, the place of the multiplication, the site of the multiplication. Today, this is a Benedictine church built above mosaics because soon, the 6th of January, the feast of the Christmas of the Greek Orthodox churches. Yeah, nice. Nice afternoon.
Beautiful flowers. It's a rock that was really used as a baptistry. They fill it in water in those days, 4th, 5th century, 5th century. They used to fill it in water, and the one who decides to follow Jesus, they used to immerse all the building, used to put all the body in the water. Until now, we have really the followers of the Oriental churches. They still do the baptism the same way as you do it. Put all the body in the water.
All the body in the water. The same we have in our churches, the real Middle East churches. The real Middle East churches, they still somebody who was baptized. If you are big, you put all the body. If you are small, you put it in water. It depends really. You see the rock, it is hewn like a cross. You see it?
Millstone.
Yeah.
Millstone. Better than millstone. Thrown into the sea.
That's coke.
You know what is this, right? What is this?
Olive press.
La, millstone, huh? The olive press is the pillar where they used to put those clothes of they contain all those little pieces of olives around and they press it. This is the stone, you know, it used to move here, you know. Above, yeah, the millstone, Yeah, can you take it as in biblical literature in some place? Remember how Jesus said once, it is easy for you to put what? A millstone around your neck, then
Better to put a millstone.
the source was, you know, those are going to be an impediment in the way of the children to come to me. It is better for them to put the millstone around themselves, around their necks, and to be cast to the sea. This is the millstone. You see, it's not an easy necklace.
There's the sea.
Again, this is a Roman. We collected all those small pieces, and we put it together, and then we press the oil. And then the garbage, which is the stone and the skin, we throw it outside. But these are, they used to make the clothes from. You see the cheesecloth from these. The dates, the palm trees, this tree.
Looks just like ours.
This is Jewish Christian baptistry. Mikvah, yeah, this is really Jewish Christian mikvah. The Jewish people, they have in their homes and their public places what we call it mikvah. Mikvah means pool for purification. For the Jewish, you call these places pools for purification. But if I am a Jewish Christian, I call it baptistry. Look, you have the seven steps, you see? Down, 7 up. You see, they have to fill it in water. I am Jewish. I decided to follow Jesus. What I do, I give you my clothes. You are my brothers. I give you my clothes, all the clothes. Then I go to the water. You see, I go 7 steps to the water. 3 times I die with Jesus. See, 3 times. And 3 times I rise with Jesus. And then I go up. See, this brother, he's waiting for me the other side with a white garment. He gives me my white garment and no turning back. It's not finished. It is written, St. Paul wrote many times about this really. All of you who are baptized in Jesus, you clothe him. You clothe him. You clothe him. See, my skin, I cannot take my skin outside myself. I die. Don't get tired from that. Really, please read it. They have another little side. You see, it means my skin is Jesus. You see, I am inside Jesus. If you love God, don't say God is in my heart. Wrong. You are in the heart of God because God is love. I cannot say God is in my heart. I say I am in the heart of God. The moment I am baptized, Jesus is my skin. See, this is dirty, I turn it to the laundry, my clothes. But what I do with my skin, I cannot give my skin to the laundry. See. Black. The black rocks are original rocks, authentic. Anything black is from the time of Jesus. Our ancestors, since really 1600 years ago, suggested this black rock under the altar, see, to be the rock where Jesus sat and blessed the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. Remember how you still remember how he said, he blessed the bread, he gave it to the disciples, and then he said, give it to the people and let them eat. He blessed the fish, he gave it to the disciples, and he said, give it to the people and let them eat. The people said 50, 50, 50, 50, or 100, 100. Why I say that, I remind you in this very little important thing. This is upper room. Indeed, this is upper room before the crucifixion. This is upper room also. Yeah, sure. You see, he blessed the bread, he gave it to the disciples, and he said, give it to the people, let them eat. He blessed the fish, multiplied that, he gave it to the disciples, he said, give it to the people, let them eat. The remains, they were how many? 12 baskets. And everybody ate and was filled and satisfied, and thank God because of that. The only one really, he behaved a little bit, as, remember Peter, he said, I make you a king. You feed 5,000 men, I make you a king. And remember really, when you come, you never go alone. Men never go alone. You have your wife, your children with you. So we don't have only men, we have also what? Women and children. And this is our culture. People from the Middle East, they say, count the men, leave the women. You see, nobody really also, I have to say that, very few don't come to see this beautiful mosaic. The 2 fish and the bread, you see them? The 2 fish and the bread.
What did you leave? Footprint?
Yeah, the Benedictians we leave there.
Look at all the beautiful flowers.
Encryption, $2 only for 4 o'clock. No way.
Looking over the Sea of Galilee from the northern side, just east of Capernaum.
West, huh?
West of Capernaum.
Is this the parable of the swine going into the sea?
The other side.
Other side. Okay.
I see it from here.
This is the area of the Sermon on the Mount.
You see, from here you see where we came from, this valley. St. Luke says, they were on the plain of the mountain.
Okay, now.
Near the side of the Beatitudes.
Yeah, it's ready. It should be ready now.
The mountain took place. We believe really took place here. it is clean, you can put thousands of people here, suitable to thousands.
Seems quite out of focus.
If you go here, where you see the cliff to over there, and you shout, you speak
Do what?
loudly, everybody can hear you, even until the edge over there, really
You're right.
very clear, without loudspeakers, without microphones, without anything. Easy that you speak and you hear clear to all these people here. So we believe here he opened his mouth and he started to preach.
Walking out to the boat ride here on the Sea of Galilee.
Looks like the piers.
So image right here is sort of secluded from the wind.
See the waves.
What would they do with Tony, this man with...
What's that, Richard? Those floaters? Floaters there. Fits that in, everybody holds on to it, I guess.
Here's our group. It ain't over to the fence.
Well, Galilee. John has a passage in there also. John 5. John 6.
Many beautiful things. You know, we decided to take a little drive to the south near Magdala, the village of Mary Magdalene. You see, in front of us, suppose we all the way take until the end of the sea, we will be in Magdala, the area where Jesus
city of Mary Magdalene.
healed Mary Magdalene, and he gave back her dignity. Straight up, Mary the Magdalene. The big cliff in front of you is the cliff of Arbela. Arbela, the top of the mountain. Jesus appointed the 12 disciples up at the top of the mountain.
There's
You
where
know,
Jesus
early in the
appointed the
morning,
disciples.
before dawn is coming, the disciples were like this, really near not far away from the beach, and the man was coming walking, and then they thought that he is a ghost. Maybe really it is here, very much possible here. And then remember Peter said, please, if you are the Lord, right at the top of the mountain.
This is Tiberias, where we stay.
That's Safat, the city of the Kabbalah. Those philosophers, rabbis, that they believe
Come along
that
the
the
road by the
Messiah
sea,
soon. I look up to Safat.
and they're turning.
I hope
now.
you can see the shining
There's
snow
Magdala.
up in the top of Mount Cheek, or the mountain of Hermon, Mount Hermon. You will see it after we turn to the left. I hope really there'll be enough sunshine so you can see it. But this is Magdala, and this is Gennesaret, and that's Tiberias. And up at the top of the mountain, the water reservoir, where you see straight ahead Tiberias, the Jewish town, all see to your hotel.
This is
Now
Gennesaret.
we turn to the left to go to the biblical area, and we are going to stop for a moment. So our brother is going to do some reading for us. I don't know what did he choose for us, but I am sure one of those things that Jesus did around the Sea of Galilee.
I've already got the clip. Yeah.
We will.
Magdala.
As we've already been told, much of the life of Jesus Christ was spent right in the area that you're looking at now, around the Sea of Galilee and on the Sea of Galilee. We don't have the time to read all of the passages of the things that happened, but we will take time to read one of them that's very familiar to you, I'm sure. So, Mark.
This is a passage just right after Jesus had
fed the multitudes in John 6, beginning at verse 15. When Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into the mountain by himself alone. And when even was come now, his disciples went down into the sea, and entered into the ship, and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. And the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So when they had rowed about 5 or 20 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea, and drawing nigh to the ship. And they were afraid. But he saith unto them, It is I, be not afraid. And they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land whither they.
Storms can arise suddenly here upon the sea as it is surrounded by the mountains. And we have actually been here on the sea when the storm suddenly came up and the rain and the waves began to lash on the boat. And so I think it would be very appropriate for us to sing, Master, the tempest is raging. Master, the sky is o'er blackened with blackness, no shelter or help is nigh. Perish thou not, and we perish. How canst thou lie asleep? When each moment so madly is threatening, a wave in the angry deep. The winds and the waves shall obey thy will. Peace, be still, peace, be still. Whether the wrath of the storm-tossed sea, or demons or men or whatever it be, no water can swallow the ship that lies, the master of ocean and earth and skies. They all shall sweetly obey thy will. Peace be still, peace be still. They all shall sweetly obey thy will. Peace, peace, be still. Jack, would you come quickly? Hallelujah. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer.
Heading towards Capernaum.
I'd say so.
Getting my direction down.
There's where we came from. There's the museum where we launched.
With the 7.5 shekel boat.
It's so quiet out here, you can understand why Jesus wanted to come out here to get away from the crowds. Mount of Beatitudes. Zoom in on it.
In Capernaum. In the Golan Heights.
Yeah. You're right.
The temperature is changing rapidly. It has gone from about 70, 75 down to probably 45 out here on the boat. Looks like it may be raining. Mount Hermon is back in the background. but as you can observe, it gets very, very foggy in that direction. And then looking backwards toward the south, you can't see very much. I wish everybody could have the scratch and sniff as well as on this. There must be a goat farm nearby. Or either Chris has gotten some bad deodorant one. Smells like a cross between the goat farm and the fish at the restaurant at lunch. There's Capernaum in the far distance. You can barely see it now, where the lights are flashing. We're going that direction on the boat. As we're coming back toward the place, I don't know if you can see all the lights on the hill, the houses, but it does give you some kind of idea of where the settlements are around the Sea of Galilee, because it's getting dusty dark. You can see Tiberias quite well and all the lights of it as you look. This is where the Sea of Galilee empties into the Jordan River. The stench here is unreal. The Jews as well as the Jordanians empty all of their refuse water, not sewage, but all their dirty water into the Jordan River. And believe me, it smells like it. As you look down the rest of the Jordan River.
And that is the meeting between Syria, Israel, and Jordan. To our left, Lower Galilee. We drive in east, Lower Galilee.
Jordan's just on the other side of the Jordan River. We're just now at sea level. This is the main road going to Nazareth. Most of the roads have been not much better than this.
Like we, the Maronite, we came from Lebanon. Where we put our villages with the Druze? In the Terra Rosa area, where we have the red formation, the rose formation soil. Golani Junction. From the olive oil, after they separate the olive oil from the water to your right hand, it comes from this village. They have lots of olives. It's a famous saying here, with the good year of olives, you see the wood oil goes until the Mediterranean Sea. Until now, the marriages are on Tuesday.
This is Cana of Galilee.
Yeah, this is a day of good hope. Just we pray for Cana, that these people will enjoy peace together. You know, this is a village of lots of pomegranates and lots of wine. Just this morning, they delayed us 15 minutes here in this site. You feel yourself as even you go to the Church of the Nativity. Lots of lights and lots of decorations.
Still in Cana.
Yeah, this is the government of Israel also decides to make this village a touristic village. Touristic village. Put more lights, it will be very touristic. So this is a very biblical village to your right hand. All the way today we called Mashhad. Today we called Mashhad. Jonas. And the name of the village in the biblical times, I believe you remember, Gat Hefer. Gat Hefer. Gat Hefer, the village of Jonas. El Gat Hefer. So when they went to the Muslims in Israel, besides them, up in the Upper Nazareth, we have 45,000 people. In the Upper Nazareth, 45,000 people. Between the 45,000, we have at least, I say at least, 20,000 Russian Jewish. At least. The last 5 years, Israel put in Nazareth 15,000 Russian Jewish. And some of them, I think, and you know, I'm sure, if you inquire about this subject, you will find lots of reality in this subject. Some of those Russian Jewish are not Jewish. Yes, really, we have lots of work between them today. Sometimes you find them come to churches. Some of them they discover themselves as not Jewish. So we are in Nazareth. Sunday is a nice day in Nazareth. George loves this day in Nazareth very well. Because we can park everywhere, George, you know, we drive, nobody beep, beep, beep for us, no. Here we are.
This is coming up to the Church of Christ. Here's the building. It's a lot like a fortress. There's a locked gate with barbed wire across the top. It's up a little side road. It smells beautiful here. There's a girl preparing flowers, looks like, for a wedding or something across the road. We're going around to go in to the main gate.
He's going to get a picture here.
This is a house where a member of the church lived.
It's that one. It's right here next to the church. See, this is a very nice home here.
Yeah.
Those are, even on the inside, you'd be surprised. And see, they've got a beautiful wall or fence. Walls or fences are very common here.
It seems to me like basketball court.
This is the Church of Christ in Nazareth. Coming into
might not have really meant for me to have this money. She said, oh no. Said, you go right ahead and take it and use it. Anyway, after a few, I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks, he got out of the hospital.
He's not very tall, but he's a big man in my eyes.
بقول لك هو مش طويل كتير بالجسد بس هو رجل كبير في عينيه.
I would like to have each of you turn to the last chapter, the last few verses of the 7th chapter of Matthew.
متى إصحاح 7 ورد في كتب بالعربي متى إنجيل متى إصحاح 7.
That's not going to help us too much.
I'm just going to read one of these 29 to start with. Chapter 4. I'm just going to go out of the text.
اللي عنده إنجيل بالعربي متى إصحاح 7 الأعداد 28 و 29 آخر عددين.
This morning I want to talk just a little bit, obviously, about Jesus, but I want to get into the passage on the Sermon on the Mount.
بدي يحكي هذا الصباح عن المسيح يسوع لكن بده يرجع لموعظة عن الجبل.
And I'm going to read verse 28 and 29 in chapter 7 of Matthew. It came to pass when Jesus had finished these words, the multitudes were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority and not as their scribes.
فلما أكمل يسوع هذه الأقوال بهتت الجموع من تعليمه لأنه كان يعلمهم كمن له سلطان وليس كالكتبة.
One of the particularly interesting things about Jesus was that when he went about teaching, he came from a different framework of thinking than we do.
لما المسيح أتى لكي يعلم بيقول إنه أجى من مكان معين مكان خاص له طابع خاص ما جاش من وين احنا اجينا فالمسيح اجى وعلم كمان له سلطه.
Many times.
This is coming out of church. Really enjoyed a good service. Fruit of the vine was real.
Well, when blacks come to it and white, you know, we got. I put
This is downtown Nazareth. I'm walking beside the bus on a sidewalk in the town of Nazareth. We're waiting for other people to come back to the bus. There's some waiting at a bus stop. Dramatic here. People either drive little small foreign cars or they drive Mercedes and BMWs. You can see there. The town is dangerous too as far as how fast people drive.
Not me, Lord.
There's your rough avocados.
You see the fruits?
This is downtown Jerusalem. I mean, Nazareth. Whoa, man.
Okay, dear. No, see that? Here.
Very swell.
There's a church built above the spring of the water, but this is the well. There is well to your right hand. It was made like this, like a modern place, 2,000 years ago. This is why they call it Mary.
Out of Nazareth.
Antone's too busy being a good host to be a good guy.
South side of Nazareth.
And we appreciate it.
This is where
We appreciate it.
They like his food better than his talk.
Law in Israel, you call it, I believe, the law of the grandsons, the grandchildren, like that. You have like this?
The only pork
No, you don't. We have it in Israel called the law of the grandsons in Israel. As my great ancestors used to grow the pork, and we used to live all the time from pork. We continue to live, although the environment is against that. Gideon, and that's Upper Afula.
From Afula, looking up to the Mount Gideon.
The Upper Afula. That's Mount Gideon, or the Upper Afula. There's an Arab village up on the top of the mountain. They call it Sheikh Duhi. Sheikh Duhi. Maybe Sheikh Duhi is Gideon, maybe. But the Arabs call the mountain of Sheikh Duhi. Parents and sisters. And King Ahab wanted him, and finally Jezebel killed the man, and Elijah came in this area, and then, you know, he said those of you will be killed outside, they will not be buried, and inside the walls the dogs are going to lap their blood because the work you did with Naboth. You know, the story happened 100% really here in this area, and someplace here to the right. And straight ahead up to the top of the mountain, to your right hand, there's a kibbutz. The name of the kibbutz is Jezreel. It's called Jezreel. So the east side of the kibbutz, we have the remains of the capital of Ahab in the winter time. In the winter time, he used to come to stay in this town straight up to the right. Straight up to the right. Jezreel. Here, Jehu, the son of Nimshi, killed both kings, the king of Israel and the king of Judea, Ahaziah, and Ahab the second. And then he returned and he killed Jezebel. And this area up to the right, there are some trees there up to the right, and at 2 o'clock to the right. That's the place of Jezreel. Really, we are having now a delegation for digging this area from also the American universities up to the right. Here at the end, Saul killed himself, King Saul. And then this is the best place for us many times when we come here. We go up to Jezreel and we read the Lamentation. Lamentation, 1 Samuel the 2nd.
Group of trees over there.
To remember you and this peasant, to remember a story, famous story in the Bible. To remind you this story, he refused to sell his vineyard to the king. All the problem of this man, he was the neighbor to the king. It's a big problem. And they killed him because of that.
and they add his vineyard to the vineyard of the king.
Mount Gilboa to the right here.
To the right, Gilboa. Gal means wave, and Boa means spring. Waves of spring. There are many, many water really springs down. All of them, they were Roman Catholics.
Prison here on the right.
The two natures. And those crusaders, if they were smart, and they were not, what they have to do